Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to do something that I've never done before, and that is lilac soap. And I'm a little nervous about it because lilac fragrance oil is notorious for being very difficult to work with in cold process soap. No matter which supplier you get this from, the reviews are covered with people loving how much it smells but hating how difficult it is to work with because it causes their soap to seize instantly. But I want to try it anyways because Fizz Fairy sent me a lilac fragrance oil that smells amazing, and now I have no excuses. I gotta give this a shot. But with that being said, I'm going to be doing things a little bit differently from my normal process in order to set myself up for success. And in this video, I'm going to talk all about it, and hopefully at the end of this video, I have a beautiful bar of soap. Fingers crossed. So if you're anything like me and you're dying to make lilac soap but you're always scared off by those reviews, then this is the video for you. The first thing that I'm going to do when I'm formulating the soap recipe is to increase my water. I usually do a very steep water discount, and I have a water discount for a number of reasons. The main one being I hate soda ash, and that is the only change that I've done in my soap that has completely removed soda ash. I'm going to increase the water at the risk of getting soda ash, but I'm okay with it. The second thing I'm going to do is add a few more liquid oils to my recipe and remove the large amount of butter that I usually have in my recipe to keep my soap batter just a little bit more liquid. Step number 3 is I'm going to keep my soap design super simple, just one color. It's just gonna be purple. You know me, I love swirly soaps, but when it comes to finicky fragrance oils, keeping your design simple is probably your best bet. And the last thing I'm going to do is work with a much smaller mold. I'm not going to make a giant 20-inch long loaf, and that's where Winston & Walter's A1 Beginners Tall and Skinny mold comes in, and I've used this to make my blushing peony soap that turned out really good. So I'm going to be doing that again. So that is the plan. Stick around if you want to see it all come together, and I will take you to the soap studio. Whew. Hey guys, here we are in my soap studio and I am getting ready to soap. Here is my lye water, and one thing that I didn't mention while I was up in my office is that I'm actually soaping pretty cool as well, and that's another precaution when working with finicky fragrance oils. Normally I like to soap around 100 degrees Fahrenheit, but when it comes to a batter that I want to keep a little bit more fluid, I will go room temperature between 80 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. That's my ideal soaping temp. So the next step is melting down my oils and butters, and once everything is liquid, then I'm going to combine those oils and butters with my lye water solution and get going on making soap. So I've measured out my soft oils, and I also measured out my fragrance oil, and my studio smells just like a spring's day. This smells amazing. My hard oil and butter is still melting down, so I have this little bit of time to prepare my area. And when it comes to a fragrance oil that you have a feeling is going to cause your soap to seize really fast, it's always a good idea to prepare your work area so that everything is within easy reach. I have my fragrance oil over here, I have my colorant over here, and this is just a purple colorant. It's Purple Galaxy from Windy Point. And it's quite dark in the jar, and if you use a lot of it, it does create a deep dark purple in soap, so I'm only going to use a little bit of that. So my plan is basically combine my oils and butters with my lye water, get that to just emulsification. I'm gonna blend in my color and then add in my fragrance oil and then put it all into my Winston & Walter mini tall and skinny mold, my A1, and that's it. It's a pretty simple, straightforward plan. Hopefully everything goes well. Fingers crossed. So we have here our coconut oil and cocoa butter all melted. To this, we are going to add our liquid oils. We're gonna put it all into here. So just pour it in. These plastic buckets I just reused from the coconut oil that I get from New Directions Aromatics. They are really great soap making tools, especially if you are scaling up and when you have to make bigger batches of soap. And to this, I'm gonna add some kaolin clay. And I really like kaolin clay in soap because it gives the soap a really nice slip. And the soap that I used to make without kaolin clay would feel really sticky on my skin, like a squeaky clean kind of feeling, and the clay really helped improve that a lot. So now to this, I'm going to be adding my lye water. So we're just gonna put this right into here. And we're going to stick blend everything together until it's just emulsified. And by that I mean you won't see any more oil streaks in the soap batter. So now that we have our liquid soap batter, we are going to be adding our color. Here is the purple mica. And again, I'm just going to use a little bit. We don't want it to be too dark. And let's blend that in. So this is a surprise. My soap batter is actually getting harder on me. So I was not expecting this. So with that in mind, I'm much more nervous about adding this fragrance oil. So let's make it manageable. I'm gonna split the batch up into two. We're going to pour this in. Let's see, it got hard pretty fast. Oh man, it's like hardening up so fast in my pot here. I've never had this before. It must be my new soap formula. All right, round two. Oh man. As I'm doing this, I must say, this is nowhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be. My peony soap riced so much worse than this. So this is actually behaving better than I thought. All right, here's the last batch. Oh man, it smells great though. All right, here we go. Get it in there. That is the mission for the soap. Get it all in. I think I succeeded in getting it all in, which is good. So now that I have my soap in here, everything looks actually pretty good. The color did not turn out as I would like. It's actually this really sickly gray color, unfortunately. But what can you do? I'm going to make this top a little bit nicer. I wonder if I can make it nicer once it's hard with botanicals and such. Color is not what I would like. The soap itself is actually, smells quite amazing. So now we're going to make our tops look nice with some swirls. And I think because the color is such a disappointment, it's this gray brown color, literally one of the worst colors you can make soap. I'm going to add some botanicals to it so that it looks a little bit prettier. I wonder if this color will look prettier once it's hard. Something tells me it's not. I'm gonna add some color to this with these blue cornflowers. Cornflower petals are so pretty and vibrant, and I think this pop of blue is great for this soap. I'm considering adding some pink cornflowers to make it look nicer. I'm gonna add some pink cornflowers just to give it a little bit more prettiness. So some thoughts on this whole process. It was interesting that the soap formula that I made thickened faster than I was expecting, and it was probably because I had a high amount of coconut oil and I added in some cocoa butter. So that's a mistake. And even though I thought that I was making the batter more fluid by reducing my shea butter amount, I think because I still had some coconut oil in there at a higher amount, that still made for a pretty thick batter. It'll be interesting tomorrow to see whether or not I get soda ash, first of all. And then second of all, I really am excited to see what the cut will look like. It smells amazing. Like, this is one of the most beautifully smelling soaps I have ever made. So the fragrance oil, the scent, it is exactly like lilac. And now I'm wondering, because it behaved pretty good with my rapidly seizing soap batter, which was seizing because of the oils and not even because of the fragrance oil, I wonder if it would play well with my original recipes. You know, it's things like that that make soap making so interesting and fun. So tomorrow, I'm gonna show you what this looks like. Hopefully the color improves, cause come on. Not the prettiest soap I've made, I will admit that. So until then, I'm going to let this rest overnight, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hey guys, it is the next day, and this is how the soap turned out. So the soap turned out pretty good, but one thing that I'm noticing right off the bat is the fact that I have some soda ash. And I was expecting some soda ash because I did not use a water discount, and lo and behold, I get soda ash. But other than that, it smells amazing, and I can't wait to cut this guy up and see what it looks like on the inside. Even though it's just one color and there's no swirls, I still get really excited cutting into soap. So let's go ahead and do that, and I will show you what it looks like. I'm molding these soaps from Winston & Walter soap molds. It's so easy. You just have to lift up one or two sides. I usually just do the one side. I will pull out the soap, set aside this guy over here, and then this is what you have. And then all you have to do is release the soap from the silicone lining, and that is super easy to do. Just pull it back from the sides and the ends. And in order to unleash the soap from the bottom of the mold, I like to have it over the edge of a lip, and I press down so that it becomes unattached, and you'll hear it remove itself. Just do the same on the other side. And then once that is done, you turn it on its side and then shimmy it out. Just pull it forward and slide it out. There you go. Now we are just going to cut into it. And I can already see how we have some imperfections because it was solidifying so fast on me. But overall, it looks okay. Let's cut into it. This is a really interesting cut. So even though I had pockets on the edges of the soap, the inside looks pretty intact. And in terms of the color didn't quite improve how I would like it to, but it's still an okay color. And I do like how I have some very faint lines throughout the soap. It almost looks like a ghost swirl. But as I'm cutting into it, the scent of lilac, ooh, this is really nice. Look at this cut. The scent of lilac is just filling my nose, and it's absolutely intoxicating. For those of you who are lilac lovers, this is such a pretty scent. I think a bar like this would appeal to people who love a rustic soap bar. They don't really like too fancy of soap. But I do like the blue and pink cornflower petals on top of the soap. I think it really complements this gray purple hue that I've got going here. And I think this soap smells absolutely heavenly. And with the cornflowers on top, you barely see the soda ash, just very, very faint. And with the last cut, I'm gonna cut off that funny edge of the soap. And there you go. So here are the cut bars, and the more I stare at these guys, the more I'm fascinated by this accidental design that's going on in these soaps. I really like this weird light colored swirl that's going crisscross across the body of the soap. I was not expecting that. Even though the soap is just one color, I really think that this subtle design really elevates the soap to make it look really, really pretty. Not 100% in love with the color. I wish I had added more purple, and if my soap batter was behaving properly as I was expecting it should, then I would have had more time to add more mica to make it more purple. But sadly, this is the gray color that we are stuck with. And you know what? I bet there's fans out there that are looking at the soap thinking, that is a soap for me. I love that hue of brown, gray, purple. It's the color of sandstone. But whatever shortcomings that the soap has in terms of the color, the scent makes up for it by so much. It smells amazing. I mentioned this before yesterday that this is the best smelling soap I've ever made. I still stand by that today. I actually had the scent of lilac around on me the whole day. So this is quite a strong fragrance oil, but I wasn't mad at that because it smelled so good. So for those of you who are lilac fans and are looking for an exact true to nature dupe of that scent, True Lilac by Fizz Fairy is absolutely amazing. Definitely, you close your eyes and you smell it and you think that you are putting your head right into a big bouquet of lilac blossoms. It smells so good. Speaking of the soap batter not behaving as I was expecting it to, I definitely think that this fragrance oil probably would have been fine with my regular recipe had I chosen to go down that route. So I'm very tempted to try the soap again with a different soap batter because that soap batter accelerated way faster than any of the usual soap batters that I'm used to working with. So I definitely think that that was a factor in how the soap turned out, not so much the fragrance oil. A really weird outcome to this video. I was not expecting that. So with that in mind, do I recommend this fragrance oil for soap? Yes, I do, because even though I had difficulty with the soap batter seizing, without any fragrance oil in it, I still managed to get the soap into the mold, and I still managed to get some pretty awesome looking soap, and I'm very, very pleased with the outcome, even though it wasn't the color that I was planning. So that is it. Thank you to Fizz Fairy for letting me test this amazing fragrance oil. It smells so good. And if you are curious about getting your hands on True Lilac, I have a link to it in my description box below. And if you're at all curious about the soap recipe I used, that is on my Patreon. And if you want to check that out, there is a link to that in my description box as well. And speaking of my Patreon, thank you to my patrons. You guys are amazing, and I really, really, really appreciate all of the support that you guys show for me there. And I want to give an extra bit of love to my bubble BFFs, these guys over here. Your support is so appreciated, and thank you to everyone who has asked me questions on there and has really helped inform me on how to better educate not only my patrons, but you guys as well on this YouTube channel. So that is it. If you had as much fun as I did making this video, then give it a huge thumbs up. And if you want to see more, please subscribe. And until the next video, keep smiling, keep making beautiful, amazing things like lilac soap. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.